we're all confident. Everybody's confident in the matchup, so it helps us with our legs, and it's just good for the whole team.
.33 on TSN 690. This is Game Night OT. I'm your host, Matthew Ross. Mo Khan and Marco Polo are here. Stefano Micella helping us out. That was the voice of Brandon Pruss talking about how it is so much better when the Canadians have 4 lines going against whoever the opponent that they are facing. Our next guest here on Game Night OT is based in Boston. He covers the Bruins and the NHL for the fourthperiod.com as well as Lowell Sun Sports. He's also an assistant coach with the under-18 national team. He is Shawn Hutcheson. Hey, Shawn, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How is everyone up there in Montreal?
Very good, thank you. No snow, decent weather, and round 2 of the playoffs, so things are good.
Absolutely. Doesn't get any better than this, does it?
Well, beating the Bruins makes it a little better, but we'll see. We'll see how this series progresses. Now, heck of a long wait to find out when these two teams will play, but it's now being reported Thursday and Saturday, and I would assume both teams, particularly the Habs, have to be happy about playing Thursday as opposed to Friday and getting this thing going with all this time off.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think both teams are really chomping at the bit. The rivalry is there, and I know from being inside the Bruins dressing room, they are happy to have a few days off. Let the few bumps and bruises heal, and the flu was going around the team, so that's working its way out now. So they're ready to lace them up and start playing some games again.
Now, Shawn, did you have Tampa or Montreal advancing in the first round?
I had Montreal. I had them in 5 games instead of 4.
Wow, very nice. Not a lot of prognosticators north or south of the border had Montreal in 5. That's pretty bold.
Well, I think just from seeing Canadians play as often as we do here in Boston, and being able to see them on TV with the different various channels, I just felt that Montreal had the speed and the better goaltending. And even though at that point it looked like Bishop was going to be in goal for Tampa, Carey Price is still, in my opinion, a better goaltender. But I just felt that Montreal had the better horses, so to speak, to win that series.
Now, obviously, looking at Montreal versus Boston, a great traditional rivalry. They played in 2011 recently in the playoffs, and obviously, 4 games in the regular season, most of them were hard-fought. Nobody really pays attention to who won the season series. That's all out the window now. But how do you size up these two teams? How do they match up in your eyes?
I think they match up very evenly in that both teams have good speed. Regardless of, there seems to be a stereotype almost that Boston is a big team that plays a heavy game, but they don't have speed. I can say that just isn't true. The heavy game, big team, heavy game part is true, but they have very good speed up front and on defense. They match up well with Montreal in that sense. Both teams have goal scorers. Both teams have outstanding defensemen. And again, going back to goaltending, you build your teams from the net out, and both organizations have done that and have done just an outstanding job in doing that. So I think this is going to be a great series, and it's just going to go back and forth, and it's going to be exciting, that's for sure.
In terms of the Bruins here and coming into this series, the fan base. I mean, obviously they're coming off a Cup final appearance, a Cup in 2011. Do the fans in Boston, particularly after winning the trophy, obviously for most points in the NHL, do they have a sense that this is going to be their toughest opponent, perhaps, or that this is a team that's destined to get to the final?
Well, I think it's both. There is no doubt in people's minds here that the Canadians do certainly have the potential to be Boston's toughest opponent. They aren't. No one is looking past this series. No one is looking past the next game. I don't think anyone's looking past the next shift. It's just there. The rivalry, as you mentioned, is there. There are ill feelings between both cities, both teams, but there's also a respect that exists there also, I think. And no one is looking past the Canadians nor this series. And I will add that people here expect Bruins to get back to the final this year, but there are also many who are saying that it may not happen, that they need to be wary of the Canadians.
What's the biggest weakness right now for the Bruins, if they have any?
That's a great question. I would say maybe on defense without Dennis Seidenberg. That losing him did weaken the defense a bit, a very small bit. It was expected to be a large weakness, really. He went down with his knee injury, but we had other defensemen step up. Kevin Miller came in, and he's a rookie, but he's playing like a veteran. Torrey Krug is improving each time out. Matt Bartkowski, another youngster who is just stepping up and playing very sound defensive hockey. And the one player who has really stepped up and improved his game, especially since the start of the playoffs, has been Dougie Hamilton. He's just playing outstanding hockey. But up front, forward, there are 4 strong lines. Everyone, of course, is aware of who's up there, and just again, the speed is there, the playmaking ability is there. They just have outstanding. They just roll the 4 lines and they play outstanding hockey. In goal with Tuukka Rask, he may be the Vezina Trophy winner this season. I would say if there is a weakness, it would be on defense because of the youth that is there.
Chatting with Shawn Hutcheson. You can follow him on twitter.com/Shawn, SHAWN, Hutcheson, HUTCHEON. Mo Khan?
Shawn, in regards to the goaltending matchup here, how intriguing is it to see Tuukka Rask at this point? And people think that Carey Price has the edge on Rask going into the series.
Hold on. Who thinks he's got the edge?
I was just going to ask that also.
Montrealers do.
Oh, all right.
Your thoughts,
just checking.
Though? I mean, looking at Rask compared to Price here, who has the edge right now?
I think it's Rask, in that he has had an outstanding season. I'm not taking anything away from Carey Price at all. He won the gold medal this year for Canada, so everyone knows just how outstanding he is. But everyone has seen the maturity of Tuukka Rask over the season, and actually over the last maybe 2 or 3 seasons. And he right now, as I mentioned, he's probably going to win the Vezina Trophy. He's very economical in his movements. He doesn't waste a lot of energy, and he's very confident right now. And I think he has the edge.
All right. In terms of, boy, it's tough to go into predictions, but let's save that for a minute here. Do you think this is going to be one of those series where it's going to get ugly in terms of the physical play and the stuff after the whistle, or will we see for the most part a pretty composed series?
That's something that I've been thinking about for a couple of days now, and what I keep coming up with is that in the last game that the two teams played, Canadians were really successful in getting the Bruins off their game and getting them to retaliate, in making them just stop playing their systems and start trying to play a more physical game and maybe go into like an intimidation mode. If Canadians are successful in doing that, it could be ugly. Yes, it could be some controversial incidents that we'll all be talking about. If the Bruins are able to stay disciplined and play within themselves and play their systems and not retaliate, if Canadians also don't go out of their way to retaliate and things like that, I think it'll be just an outstanding series that could be a memorable one because of the speed and the skill that will be on the ice. So I think it could go either way, but I really believe that since this is the playoffs, the experience that the Bruins have and will just bear out that it won't get very ugly. I just don't think that will happen. Yeah,
it's not like they have players that would, stick a stick in someone's crotch in the playoffs.
No. What gives you that idea?
Chatting with Shawn.
Lucic, Mr. Lucic, I will admit, he will admit as well, he's been guilty of that, but we won't be seeing that in this series. He knows he's too valuable on the ice, and he knows that the league is watching, so I don't think we're going to see that at all.
My favorite gag that week was people talking about the fact that Quenneville gets fined $25,000 for touching himself, and Lucic $5,000 for touching someone else's crotch. So it's cheaper to reach out and touch someone else. But anyway, Shawn, final thoughts here in terms of what do you expect for the outcome here?
As I mentioned, it's going to be just outstanding hockey, and I know everyone on both sides of the border can't wait for this series to begin, including myself. It's going to be one of the most exciting series of the entire playoffs. It may be the best series of the entire playoffs. And if you're asking me to make a prediction, I think I'm going to go with the Bruins in 6 games.
Okay, so 6 games, closing it out in Montreal. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously Montreal's road record better than at home sometimes, and certainly we saw that a few years ago when they won the first 2 in Boston before losing eventually in 7 games. So it's going to be interesting to see what the beginning of that series is like. Obviously a little more rust on Montreal than Boston, so if the Bruins can put the hammer down in Game 1, it'll put Montreal in a tough hole because history tells us that they don't really hold serve all that well at home. So I think that's going to be an interesting aspect to it. You mentioned Seidenberg, and he was such a key player the last few years for the Bruins. What is the outlook on him in terms of coming back?
Well, he practiced with the team today. He didn't take part in any of the contact drills, but it was his first day on the ice with the team in a practice, and it looks like that if the series, I would say it's being bandied about that if the series goes 6, 7 games, we may see him in the lineup. Though, from everything I've read about his injury, and I've also had 3 knee surgeries myself when I played, I don't believe he'll be ready for this series. I think he if the team does advance, we'll see him in the next round. But I don't know. He's from in the press box during the Detroit series. He's got a smile on his face, and I've asked him a couple of times, "How are you? How are you feeling?" And he just smiles and says, "I'm feeling really good." And who knows? We may see him in this series, but I'd be surprised. But anything can happen.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, that's Shawn Hutcheson. You can follow him on twitter.com/Shawn Hutcheson or check out thefourthperiod.com or Lowell Sun Sports. Thanks so much, Shawn. Appreciate your time. We'll talk soon.
I appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
All right, there you go. That's Shawn Hutcheson, based out in Boston. It is Game Night OT here. We have one more segment to come. We're going to talk about the 3 Game 7s upcoming in the NHL, but we also have to update you on what's happening in the NBA. Mokan, as we head to break, a frenetic end here to the OKC Thunder and Memphis Grizzlies. Tell us what's happening here.
Grizzlies were up 2. Mike Conley with the ball. Russell Westbrook stole the ball. Easy 2 points, tied up at 90 points now with about 4 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
And that's exactly what they needed. They needed Westbrook to come up big here. People were calling on this guy, calling him out. 4 seconds left. Tie game in OKC. Tremendous stuff there. We'll also update you on the Warriors-Clippers as well. Stay tuned. It is Game Night OT. Up next, the 3 Game 7s. We preview all 3 of them for you.